Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Body Wisdom Podcast with Dr. Michele. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and today we're on part 2 of why taking care of our 5 senses is vital to feeling young. So, last week we talked about our mouth, oral care, oil pulling, and scraping our tongue. And then we moved on to our nose, where we talked about using a neti pot and nausea treatment, which is applying oil to the nasal cavity. Now we're going to move on to our eyes. So, our eyes can get really tired in today's world. Let's talk about some eye care practices, and we can do it together unless you're driving. So, if you're driving, just listen to what the exercises are. But if you're not driving, this is one where you can sit down quietly and relax your eyes, close your eyes, and then start doing some of the practices that we're going to be doing together. So the first one is called figure eights. So what we're going to do is roll our eyes in a figure 8 for 10 slow, easy breaths. This simple therapy increases the flexibility of your extraocular muscles. So smile and relax while you do your eye exercises, which releases tension in your eyes. Don't overdo it. If you feel strain in your eyes at all, back off. So you could maybe do one figure 8 for every 2 breaths. And you want to do that for 10 breaths. So maybe you're going to do about 4 or 5 figure 8s. The extraocular muscles, if you're not familiar with what that is, and as some of you may know, I am an anatomy and physiology professor at a college, and I also majored in that when I went to college. So this is one of my favorite things to do, is to talk about anatomy and physiology. But the extraocular muscles are the muscles on the outside of your eyeball that move your eye from side to side, up and down, and then in diagonal directions. So when you do a figure 8, you're using all of those different muscles. Okay, number 2, the next one is called palming. So rub your hands together, rub the palms of your hands together to generate heat. Place your right fingers on top of your left fingers. Gently place your hands over your eyes, applying no pressure. Relax for 10 to 15 breaths to release unnecessary tension from your body. Notice the darkness and the light pressure. You are giving your eyes a little break. You're now pulsating between lightness and darkness. Notice if your body starts to relax. You might yawn and feel a deeper relaxation. Now let go of your hands and simply notice if your body is more relaxed. Number 3, it's called zooming out. So this exercise is recommended especially for individuals who suffer from computer vision syndrome, but it can also help relax the eyes after any other strenuous activity. Choose an object that is located about 6 to 10 meters away from you and focus on it for about 20 seconds without moving your head. Doing so provides rest to the ciliary muscles that we tend to put a lot of stress on when we focus intensely on the computer screen. So the ciliary muscles, going back to our anatomy, are the muscles that control your pupil dilation and relaxation of your iris. So it's going to be relaxing the internal muscles of the eye versus the extraocular muscles. So that one was called zooming out. And now number 4, we're going to do zooming in. So this simple and somewhat hilarious exercise can be performed by holding a pencil in front of you at arm's length, then slowly moving the arm closer to your nose, while focusing your eyes on the tip of the pencil. The goal is to bring the tip of the pencil as close to the nose as possible until your eyes can't keep focus. Doing this exercise 10 times in a row helps improve eye movement, control and strengthens the eye muscles. Number 5 is called repeated blinking. This simple action that we often take for granted plays a vital role in eye health and vision. It replenishes the tear film that covers the surface of the eye, the cornea, lubricating it and protecting it against dryness, dust particles, and other irritants. Some research shows that when we watch TV or use the computer, we tend to blink less, which dries and irritates the eyes, potentially causing headaches and other types of discomfort. Blinking every 3 or 4 seconds for about a minute is thought to help to reduce eye strain by clearing the cornea and allowing the eyes to rest. Number 6. This is one that I really like. It's called looking at the horizon. We're going to look outside. So if you're inside, you may want to stand by a window, or maybe from where you're sitting, you can see out of a window. And you're going to look as far as your eyes can see out onto the horizon. What do you see on the horizon? You may be able to see the mountains miles away, or you may only be able to see the building across the street and the sky. If that's the case, look at where the building meets the sky. That's going to be your horizon. You may be able to look up and see the clouds, which are also miles and miles away. Allow your eyes to zone out or space out. It's really important to look at nature like mountains, the sky, or clouds. We want to take in elements straight from the elements. As you do this, release your eyeball into the back of your socket, just as you did with palming. It should feel relaxed, not strained or bugged out. So if you did all of those exercises, it's just a few minutes of eye movement practices. It doesn't take a huge amount of time to do every day. If you're someone who uses the computer a lot, pulsate your work on the computer with spacing out and looking at the horizon. Set a buzzer for an hour when you're working at your desk, or every 20 minutes to just stand up from your desk, walk to a window, and look out at the horizon. There's another eye therapy you can do at home using eye goggles and organic ghee. Melt the ghee to body temperature, fill your goggles with the ghee, lay down with your head on a towel, and open your eyes with your goggles on. This is a great therapy that lets your eyes relax backward. It's great for anyone with dry eyes. It's very nourishing and amazing to experience. You can do it as often as you want. However, don't do it if you've recently had eye surgery. You can also do this practice at an Ayurvedic clinic or spa, which is what I did once, using a dough dam called Netra Basti. It's placed over the eye and ghee is poured into the basti. It's usually done after another therapy like an Ayurvedic massage or a full body steam. The goggles version is like a home version of this. Okay, so let's move on to our ears now. There is a simple therapy of putting warm sesame oil into the ears. Put an old towel under the head. It's an amazing therapy to do when the season changes. The ears are ether. They are extremely light. This is a very deeply nourishing therapy for the ears. It's more of a water earth therapy, so it's very grounding and decreases sensitivity throughout the entire nervous system. It is very subtle and sublime therapy. You can also do it by putting a few drops of oil on your fingertip as you do your self-massage, and then put your fingertip into your ears and do a few little circles with your finger. It opens up the cervical lymphatics. You'll be able to oil your ears in a very fast way. If you have kids, do this practice every month with them. Have them lay there for 3 minutes, then flip over and do the other side. Make sure you have an old towel under their head. A good oil to use for this therapy is sesame oil. And that's the one I use, and I do this one every day because I have dry ears and I also have dry eyes. Wearing contacts doesn't help. So knowing that I have dry ears and dry eyes, I make sure that I lubricate my ears and my eyes often. Okay, so we've covered 4 of the senses, 2 last week, 2 this week, and we've already covered skin or touch in the habit of self-massage in episode number 83. Because it's such a big habit, we devoted one whole episode to that sense. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and review episode 83. Doing each of the other sense organ care practices doesn't take you much time at all, except in the very beginning when you're learning how to do them. Doing tongue scraping only takes about 10 seconds. The neti pot only takes about a minute. Putting a few drops of oil in your ears is only going to take you a few seconds, and eye care practices and exercises only takes a couple of minutes. So in terms of a Kaizen approach to these practices, pick out what you want to do now. Which one can you do now the easiest? Which one can you start incorporating into your day now? Remember that your little habits are always triggered by something else, like brushing your teeth or sitting down at your computer. So if you can, write down now which one of these micro habits of sense organ care are the most important to you and which ones you can start doing right now.